My friends, the world you see around you is not fixed. It bends, it yields, it shapes itself to the inner images you dare to hold. The life you are living today is nothing more than the echo of what you once believed possible, and the life you will live tomorrow depends entirely on what you accept as true right now. If you would build something vast, something enduring, something that touches lives beyond your own, then you must first build it here, in the workshop of imagination. You must act as though the empire you seek is already yours, not in the future, not someday, but now, into the silence. My friends, if you would begin to build an empire, the very first step is not in the marketplace, not in the signing of contracts, not in the gathering of resources, and not in the applause of others. The first step is within. You must learn to enter the silence. The silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the retreat from the clamoring voices of doubt. It is the withdrawal from the endless reports of limitation. It is the sacred chamber of the mind where creation begins. Every great movement of destiny starts in quietness. The seed does not shout before it breaks the soil. The artist does not display the canvas before the image is painted. The empire you seek to raise must first be conceived in the invisible sanctuary of silence. Pause with me here. Close your eyes, if only in imagination. Let the weight of the world fall from your shoulders. All the demands, all the expectations, all the fears, release them for this moment, for in silence you stand at the center of power. Why is silence so powerful? Because in silence the outer world cannot argue with you, it cannot tell you who you are. It cannot tell you what you cannot do. It cannot remind you of the failures of yesterday. In silence you stand unchallenged, unopposed, a creator facing a blank canvas. Most people fear silence. They cannot endure it. They run from it, filling their lives with noise, music, chatter, screens, endless distraction. Why? Because silence reveals the truth of their own thoughts. But you, if you would build an empire, must not fear silence. You must embrace it. For silence is not empty. Silence is full. It is the womb of creation. When you withdraw into silence, you step away from the authority of the senses. You step away from the evidence of your eyes and ears. You step into the higher authority of imagination. The world outside may say you are small, you are limited, you have not, you cannot. But in silence you may dare to say, I am vast, I am unlimited, I possess, I can. Do you see what I am telling you? Silence is the ground on which you plant the seeds of assumption. And if you plant those seeds faithfully, the harvest must come. Let me paint this for you. Imagine a king before his throne was built. To the eyes of others, he may have been a wanderer, a man with nothing but dust on his feet, but in his silence he already walked the halls of his palace. He already felt the crown upon his head. He already knew himself as king, and because he dared to claim it in the silence, the day came when the outer world bowed to that inner claim. So it will be with you. The first step then is to carve out lay moments to enter the silence. Do not wait for perfect circumstances. Do not say, I will be still when I have time. No, make the time. Let the empire begin in the quiet of the morning, in the stillness before sleep, in the pause between duty. For every time you enter the silence, you are laying the foundation of your empire. And when you enter, do not come as a beggar. Do not come pleading, asking, hoping. Enter as the owner. Enter as the one who already possesses what you see. Sit down in silence as though you are already seated upon the throne of your desire, for silence responds not to doubt, but to certainty. You may say to me, but how shall I silence the mind? My thoughts are loud, they race, they shout. I tell you this, you do not silence the mind by force, you silence it by focus. Give it an image so compelling that it cannot wander. Give it the picture of your empire completed. Give it the sound of voices congratulating you. Give it the feel of success already attained. When the mind is occupied with vision, it grows still. This is why so many fail to create. They enter silence with no image, no assumption, no seed, and so the silence reflects back only emptiness. But you will not fail, because you will bring with you the picture of fulfillment. You will step into silence as an emperor steps into his hall, already robed in majesty, already clothed in victory. Do this faithfully, day after day, night after night, until the silence feels more real to you than the noise of the world, until the inner picture feels more solid than the outer circumstance. And when that happens, the world outside will bend. It cannot resist the power of an imagination rooted in silence. Listen closely. The empire you dream of is already within you. You do not have to chase it. You do not have to beg for it. You only have to enter silence and claim it, see it, feel it, accept it, and the silence will carry your acceptance into form. So I tell you, step one, the beginning of all beginnings is this: enter the silence, withdraw daily into the sacred chamber of imagination, plant your empire there, and know with the certainty of law that what is planted in silence must one day shout upon the rooftops. Do not despise the smallness of these moments. A seed looks insignificant, but within it is the fall. A moment of silence may look like nothing, but within it is the power to shift the world. Begin tonight. Begin now. Enter the silence not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. For in the silence the empire is already yours. 2. See the empire completed. My friends, after entering the silence, the next step is to see not as the world sees, with eyes that only report the present moment, but to see with the eye of imagination, to see beyond appearances, to see the empire completed. Let me tell you something vital. You cannot build what you cannot see. The carpenter does not begin with wood. He begins with a blueprint. The painter does not begin with paint. He begins with an image in the mind. And the empire you desire will not begin with money, contacts, or opportunity. It begins with vision. And here is the key. Do not see it in progress. Do not see it half done. Do not see it as becoming. See it as finished. See it as whole. See it as already standing, already established, already yours. Close your eyes and walk through it. If it is a business, see the doors open, the people coming, the sound of transactions, the satisfaction on faces, the hum of energy. If it is influence, see the crowds gathered, the voices listening, the respect in their eyes, the applause in their hands. If it is wealth, see the accounts full, the homes built, the abundance flowing. Whatever your empire is, see it in its completed state. Why must you see it complete? Because imagination does not deal in fragments. It does not create half-formed realities. It creates according to the image you hold as true. If you see in completion, you will live in completion. If you see delays, you will live delays. But if you see fulfillment, if you dare to see it done, then the world must bring it to pass. So I tell you, step 2 is the practice of seeing. To walk in imagination as though the vision were already fact. To move in the inner world with the same certainty you would in the outer. Do not merely glance at it. Dwell in it, explore it, touch it, smell it, hear it. Make it as vivid as the chair upon which you sit. If you see an empire of commerce, walk the halls, touch the walls, hear the sound of voices negotiating. If you see an empire of influence, hear the microphones, the echoes, the footsteps on stage. If you see an empire of wealth, feel the weight of it, the ease of it, the flow of it. The mind does not know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. This is why vision is so powerful. When you see the empire completed in your imagination, you are training your mind, your body, your emotions to accept it as reality. And what is accepted within must be expressed without. Let me ask you, when you dream of your empire, do you stand outside of it, gazing at it as if it were far away? Or do you stand inside it, living it, breathing it, owning it? For this is the distinction that separates mere wishful thinking from creation. The one who wishes looks at the empire from a distance. The one who creates lives in it now. So tonight, when you enter the silence, I want you to do more than close your eyes. I want you to walk into your empire, open its doors, sit in its offices, stand upon its platforms, hold the hands of those who celebrate with you. Live it as though it were already here. Do not be content with vague outlines. Make it specific. Make it detailed. For the more real it becomes in vision, the more inevitable it becomes in manifestation. And listen carefully. You may say, but I do not know what my empire will look like. I do not know the details. Then imagine the feeling of completion. If you cannot yet see the form, feel the satisfaction of it done. Feel the relief, the pride, the gratitude, the joy. That feeling will draw to you the details. There is a law at work here. What you see in imagination, you give life to, and what you give life to must one day appear before you. This is not philosophy. This is power. Let me give you an image. A builder stands before an empty field. The ground is bare. The sky is blank. But in his mind he already sees the towers, the windows, the arches, the gardens. He sees it finished. And so he builds toward that vision. Without that inner picture, the ground would remain bare. The workers would wander. The materials would lie unused. But because he sees it done, the field transforms. You too stand before the empty field of your life. The world may look barren. Resources may seem scarce. Opportunity may appear distant. But if you will see the empire completed, then the barren ground will bloom. The opportunities will rise. The resources will gather. For life always obeys the vision of one who dares to see completion. And I tell you this, never let the outer world steal your inner sight. There will be days when nothing outward suggests your empire is near. There will be nights when all evidence denies it. But that is the very moment to see it most clearly. That is the moment to close your eyes and walk its halls with even greater confidence. For the outer world is but a shadow, and the inner sight is the substance. Do not measure the empire by what you see around you now. Measure it only by what you see within. For the inner image is the prophecy of the outer fact. So step 2, my friends, is not a casual suggestion. It is the cornerstone. See the empire completed, not half-built, not delayed, not someday. See it now. Walk in it now. Accept it now. If you can hold this vision with persistence, the world cannot resist you. It must bow to the image you sustain. So tonight, as you lay your head to rest, close your eyes not upon the day you had, but upon the empire completed. Drift to sleep as one who already lives in it. Wake as one who already possesses it. And through this continual practice, the vision will harden into fact. Remember this truth. What you see in imagination is more powerful than what you see with your eyes. The eyes report what has been. Imagination reveals what shall be. Choose wisely which sight you trust. Therefore I charge you, do not live as a spectator of your dream. Live as its inhabitant. See the empire completed, and it must one day rise in the world of flesh and stone. 3. Assume the identity of the builder. My friends, once you have entered the silence, once you have seen the empire completed, the next step is this: you must assume the identity of the builder. What do I mean by this? I mean that you must no longer think of yourself as the one who hopes for an empire, or the one who is trying to build an empire, but as the one who already is the master of the empire. Not tomorrow, not next year, not after 10 struggles. Now, this is where so many falter. They see the vision, they glimpse the promise, but they continue to identify with the small self who doubts, who fears, who says, maybe someday. And as long as you remain that self, the empire will remain far from you. But when you dare to assume the identity of the builder, everything changes. You no longer walk as the beggar, hoping for scraps. You walk as the king, laying claim to his throne. You no longer speak as the servant, pleading for permission. You speak as the master, issuing decree. Understand this: identity is destiny. Who you believe yourself to be determines what you create, what you accept, what you reject, and what you manifest. If you believe yourself to be powerless, you will act in ways that invite defeat. If you believe yourself to be strong, you will move in ways that command victory. And if you believe yourself to be the builder of an empire, you will naturally attract the opportunities, the people, the resources, and the courage to make it so. So the question is simple: who are you in your own eyes? Do not answer too quickly. For many will say, I am powerful, I am successful, I am destined. Yet in the hidden chambers of their hearts, they still cling to an old identity of failure, of lack, of uncertainty. And as long as that hidden identity remains, the outer life will echo it. This is why step 3 is so vital. It is not enough to see the empire. You must step into the role of its master. You must assume the identity of the builder. How do you do this? By thinking from the empire, not of it. When you think of the empire, you stand outside it, looking at it as a dream, a wish, a hope. When you think from the empire, you stand inside it, living as though it were already yours. Let me give you an image. A man dreaming of a mansion. If he thinks of it, he says one day, I will live there. How grand it would be. But if he thinks from it, he says, I am in my home now. I walk its rooms. I feel its walls. I belong here. And because he assumes the identity of the owner, the world begins to rearrange itself to confirm that assumption. So too with you. Stop thinking of your empire as a distant vision. Begin thinking from it as the builder, as the one to whom it already belongs. When you rise in the morning, do not rise as the struggler, rise as the master. When you speak to others, do not speak as the one who hopes. Speak as the one who already is. When you walk through the world, do not walk as the beggar at the gates. Walk as the builder within the palace. This is not arrogance. This is creation. For what you assume within yourself, you summon into being. And yes, the outer world may not yet reflect it. The bank account may not yet match the vision. The circumstances may still whisper limitation. But if you hold the identity of the builder, these appearances must bend. For the world is but a mirror, and it cannot help but reflect back the image you assume. Think of the actor upon the stage. When he plays the king, he does not stand timidly, hoping the audience will believe him. He assumes the role fully. He walks, he speaks, he gestures as the king, and because he embodies it, the audience believes. Likewise, life itself is your audience. If you assume the identity of the builder, life cannot resist. It must respond in kind. Do you see the power of this? Assume identity is to command destiny. But you may say, what if I feel unworthy? What if I feel small? Then I tell you, worthiness is a choice. Greatness is not earned by waiting. It is claimed by assuming. No one crowns you but yourself. The moment you dare to assume the identity, the crown is upon your head. This is why empires are not built by the timid. They are built by those who dare to believe themselves greater than their circumstance. They are built by those who refuse to identify with weakness, who refuse to bow to lack, who choose instead to stand tall as creators of destiny. So let me ask you, how do you carry yourself each day? Do you shrink, or do you expand? Do you apologize for your existence, or do you own it? For the way you carry yourself is the echo of your identity. I charge you, begin this very hour to assume the identity of the builder. Speak differently. Walk differently. Think differently. Let every action flow from the inner truth that the empire is already yours. When doubts rise, remind yourself, that is not who I am. I am the builder. I am the master. I am the one who possesses. And as you persist in this assumption, something remarkable will happen. The old self will fade. The doubts will lose their grip. The outer world, once hostile, will begin to yield. Doors will open. Paths will appear. People will arrive. For the universe itself must bow to the authority of your assumed identity. So step 3 is the turning point. Step 1, you entered the silence. Step 2, you saw the empire completed. But now, in step 3, you become the builder. Not in imagination only, but in identity. You no longer say, I hope to. You say, I am. You no longer act as one preparing to arrive. You act as one already arrived. And when you do this, the outer world cannot delay long, for it must match the inner claim. So I tell you now, assume the identity of the builder. Claim it, live it, breathe it, let it become the very atmosphere in which you exist. And soon the empire that began as vision will stand before you as fact. 4. Speak the language of fulfillment. My friends, after you have entered the silence, after you have seen the empire completed, after you have assumed the identity of the builder, there comes a critical step. You must speak the language of fulfillment. Why is this important? Because words are not idle. Words are not mere sounds tossed into the air. Words are power. Words are seeds. Words shape the atmosphere around you and declare to the world what you believe to be true. Every time you open your mouth, you are revealing your inner state. Every sentence you speak is either a declaration of fulfillment or a confession of defeat. Listen carefully to your own language. Do you speak as one who already owns the empire, or do you speak as one still hoping for it? This is where many destroy their own vision. They may enter the silence faithfully. They may see the empire vividly. They may even begin to assume the identity of the builder. Yet when they open their mouth, they betray themselves. They say, one day I'll succeed. If things go right, I'll make it. I hope it happens. And in those words, they announce to the world and to themselves that they do not yet possess it. But you, if you would see the empire rise, you must speak differently. You must speak the language of fulfillment. What is this language? It is the language of the accomplished. It is the language of the one who already is. It does not look to the future. It does not wait for evidence. It speaks from completion. For example, the one who speaks the language of fulfillment does not say, I will build a great business. He says, my business is thriving. My work is a blessing. My empire is alive. The one who speaks the language of fulfillment does not say, I hope to inspire people. She says, people are inspired by my words every day. Lives are changing. Influence flows from me. The one who speaks the language of fulfillment does not say, someday I will be free. He says, I am free now. I walk in freedom. My life is abundance. Do you feel the difference? One language binds you to waiting. The other places you in possession. One keeps you forever reaching. The other anchors you in fulfillment. Words carry vibration. When you speak as though something is already yours, you align yourself with the reality of having. When you speak as though something is far off, you align yourself with the reality of lack. So the question is this: what atmosphere are your words creating around you? Look around your life and you will see the harvest of your language. For the words you speak consistently become the conditions you live. If your life is filled with struggle, listen to your speech. You will find struggle on your tongue. If your life is filled with delays, listen to your speech. You will hear delay in your words. But if you want a life filled with empire, power, abundance and fulfillment, then your tongue must speak it first. And do not think you can hide behind just being realistic. Many will say, but I must speak what I see. I must describe my circumstances honestly. You must describe the vision, not the circumstance. You must speak from what is real in imagination, not what is temporary in fact. For facts change, circumstances shift, but the word you persist holds the power to outlast them all. So I urge you, begin now to watch your words. Listen to yourself in conversation. Catch the little phrases you speak without thought. I can't afford that. I never get a break. Things never work out for me. Success is hard. These phrases may feel small, but they are poisonous seeds. Uproot them. Refuse them. Replace them with the language of fulfillment. Say instead, I can. I do. I succeed. Opportunities flow to me. Doors open. People support me. My life is unfolding exactly as it should. My empire is here. At first your mind may resist. The outer world may contradict, but persist. Seek it anyway. Speak it boldly. Speak it with the authority of one who knows. For every time you speak the language of fulfillment, you are reinforcing the identity of the builder. You are watering the vision of the empire. You are aligning your inner world with the reality you see, and something powerful will happen. Your words will begin to change the way others see you. They will hear in your tone not the uncertainty of a dreamer, but the certainty of a creator. They will sense the authority in your voice. They will respond to it. They will align with, and suddenly conversations will open doors. Words spoken will bring opportunities. Your very language will magnetize what you desire. Do you see the power of this? The empire is not built only in silence. It is built in sound. It is built in the words you speak aloud to yourself, to others, to the world. Think of the great leaders of history. Did they speak as uncertain men and women? No, they spoke with the language of fulfillment. They declared boldly what was not yet seen, and the world conformed to their word. So too with you. If you want to command respect, speak as one who already has it. If you want to attract abundance, speak as one who already enjoys it. If you want to live in empire, speak as one who already rules it. And remember, the language of fulfillment is not only for public, it is also for your private whispers. What do you say to yourself when no one is listening? For those words, the hidden ones, carry the greatest weight. Do you tell yourself, I am not enough, I am failing, I can't? Or do you tell yourself, I am capable, I am powerful, I am the builder of a vast empire? For your self-talk is the soil in which the seeds of destiny grow. So I tell you, let your words agree with your vision. Let your words match your identity. Let your words carry the vibration of the empire. Completed. From this day forward, discipline your tongue. Refuse to speak lack. Refuse to speak defeat. Refuse to lend your voice to anything less than fulfillment. Instead, let your speech be saturated with success, with abundance, with certainty. Say to yourself in the morning, this is the day my empire expands. Say in the evening, I am grateful for my empire is alive and thriving. Say throughout the day, everything I need is flowing to me. I am the master of my destiny. My vision is fulfilled. And as you persist, you will notice that the language of fulfillment no longer feels forced. It becomes natural. It becomes your native tongue. You will find yourself speaking with authority without even trying. And when that happens, know this: the empire is already on its way into form. So step 4 is simple. yet powerful beyond measure. Speak the language of fulfillment. Let your words be in harmony with your vision. Let your speech declare the identity you have assumed. Let your tongue create the atmosphere of your empire. For words are spirit, words are power, words are creation, and when you speak fulfillment, fulfillment must answer. Feel the atmosphere of victory. My friends, after entering the silence, after seeing the empire completed, after assuming the identity of the builder, after speaking the language of fulfillment, there comes a step without which all the others will fall flat. You must feel the atmosphere of victory. For what is imagination without feeling? It is a picture without life. What is identity without feeling? It is a mask without breath. What are words without feeling? They are hollow sounds echoing in an empty chamber. It is feeling that gives power to vision. It is feeling that clothes imagination in flesh. It is feeling that turns a thought into destiny. Ask yourself, when you dream of your empire, what do you feel? Do you feel the joy of it accomplished or the strain of it distant? Do you feel the celebration of victory or the anxiety of waiting? For the quality of your feeling is the secret to the quality of your manifestation. I tell you this, if you would see the empire rise, you must live daily in the atmosphere of victory. What do I mean by atmosphere? I mean the invisible climate of the heart. Just as a room may carry the warmth of summer or the chill of winter, so too does your inner world carry an atmosphere of defeat or of triumph. And whatever atmosphere you maintain within will shape the experiences that surround you without. So do not simply see the empire. Do not simply declare the empire. Feel it. Feel it as real, as present, as accomplished. Step into the emotional climate of the one who has already won. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your empire stands complete. The work is done. The vision is fulfilled. People are gathered, applauding, rejoicing in what you have created. How do you feel? Relieved? Grateful? Proud? Joyful? Take that feeling, seize it, hold it. That is the atmosphere of victory. And once you touch it, do not let it go. Carry it with you. Wear it like a garment. Live in it as naturally as you live in the air around you. For here lies the mystery. The world does not respond to your wish. It responds to your feeling. You may wish all day for success, but if you feel small, life will confirm your smallness. You may hope endlessly for wealth, but if you feel poor, life will echo poverty. You may declare words of triumph, but if you feel defeated, defeat will answer. But when you feel the atmosphere of victory, when you walk with the joy, the gratitude, the certainty of accomplishment, life must conspire to make it so. Think of it like a magnet. The atmosphere you carry draws to you people, opportunities and circumstances that match. If you radiate doubt, you attract doubters. If you radiate fear, you attract obstacles. But if you radiate victory, you attract triumph. So the task of step 5 is to cultivate and sustain this atmosphere until it becomes the natural state of your being. How do you do this? Begin with gratitude. Gratitude is the quickest path to victory. Be grateful not for what you hope will come, but for what you already accept as done. Say to yourself, I am grateful my empire stands. I am grateful for the people it touches. I am grateful for the abundance it brings. Gratitude creates the emotional tone of victory, even before the outer world confirms it. Then embrace joy. Let joy rise within you, not because of what you see outside, but because of what you know inside. Dance if you must. Sing if you must. Laugh as though you already hold the crown. Joy is a declaration to the universe that you are in possession. And then cultivate confidence. Walk tall. Breathe deeply. Move with the assurance of one who knows the end is secure. When you carry yourself with confidence, you embody the atmosphere of victory. Some may say, but how can I feel victory when I see none? I answer, by understanding that feeling does not follow fact. Fact follows feeling. You do not wait to feel successful until the empire appears. You feel successful, and the empire appears. So discipline your heart as you discipline your tongue. When fear whispers, replace it with gratitude. When doubt knocks, replace it with joy. When weakness stirs, replace it with confidence. Build within you such a strong atmosphere of victory that nothing outside can shake it. And here is the beauty. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. At first you may have to close your eyes often, returning to the silence, rehearsing the feeling of triumph. But soon it will no longer be rehearsal. It will be natural. You will wake in victory. You will walk in victory. You will breathe in victory. And when that happens, watch how the world changes. People will treat you differently though they cannot say why. Opportunities will find you though you did not chase them. Circumstances will arrange themselves though you made no effort. For the world always bends to the atmosphere you carry. So I charge you, feel it now. Do not wait for the outer proof. Feel it now and the proof must come. If tonight you sit in a small room with little to your name, still you can close your eyes and feel the grandeur of your empire complete. If today your pockets are empty, still you can feel the wealth flowing through your hands. If today your name is unknown, still you can feel the applause of crowds who celebrate your work. And if you persist in that atmosphere, I promise you, the day will come when what you felt within will stand undeniable without. So step 5 is the secret of all secrets. Feel the atmosphere of victory. Let gratitude, joy, and confidence be your climate. Refuse the atmosphere of defeat. Refuse the climate of doubt. Refuse the weather of despair. Create within yourself the atmosphere of triumph, and the world must conform. Remember, thought is the picture. Word is the declaration. Identity is the role, but feeling is the power. Without it, the empire remains a sketch. With it, the empire becomes flesh and stone. So I tell you now, begin this very moment. Close your eyes, step into the feeling, taste the victory, live in it, walk in it, breathe in it, and never let it go. For when you feel the atmosphere of victory, the empire is not only possible, it is inevitable. 6. Persist in the assumption. My friends, the path is clear. You have entered the silence. You have seen the empire completed. You have assumed the identity of the builder. You have spoken the language of fulfillment. You have felt the atmosphere of victory. And now you must persist. Persist in the assumption. For it is persistence that separates the dreamers from the creators. It is persistence that transforms fleeting visions into solid realities. Anyone can imagine for a moment. Anyone can feel victory for a night. Anyone can declare fulfillment for a week. But the empire is not given to the fleeting. The empire is given to the one who persists. Persistence is the golden thread that binds all the steps together. Without it, the silence is broken. Without it, the vision fades. Without it, the identity crumbles. Without it, the words lose their power. Without it, the feeling dissolves. But with persistence, even the smallest spark becomes a blazing fire that nothing in the world can put out. Listen carefully. When you assume the reality of your empire, the outer world may not bow immediately. Circumstances may resist. People may doubt. Appearances may mock. And this is where many fall. They take the silence once, but not again. They see the empire once, but not again. They feel victory once, but then surrender to appearances. But you, if you would truly build an empire, you must persist. You must return again and again to the inner vision. You must live in the identity day after day, night after night, until it becomes the only truth you know. You must persist when nothing outside suggests success. You must persist when the bank account is empty. You must persist when doors seem closed. You must persist when friends and family question your sanity. Why? Because the outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. And effects take time to catch up with causes. But if you abandon the cause too soon, the effect cannot arrive. Think of the farmer who plants a seed. He does not dig it up the next day to see if it has sprouted. He persists in watering it. He persists in believing it will grow, though the soil looks unchanged. And in time the harvest comes. So too with you. The empire is the seed you planted in silence. Persistence is the water. Persistence is the sun. Persistence is the nourishment that brings it to life. But what does it mean to persist in the assumption? It means this: to live in the state of fulfillment, regardless of appearance. It means to carry within you the certainty that the empire is already yours, even if the outer world has not yet confirmed it. It means to return daily to the silence, daily to the vision, daily to the identity, daily to the language, daily to the feeling, until persistence itself becomes your second nature. You see, the mind loves to wander. It loves to doubt. It loves to question. And if you allow it, it will drag you back into the smallness of appearances. But persistence is the discipline of the spirit. It is the choice to hold steady when the waves crash, to remain centered when the storm rages, to say again and again, it is done, it is mine, it is finished. And let me warn you, there will be moments when persistence feels like madness. when everything in the outer world screams the opposite of your vision, when the evidence denies your assumption, when you feel foolish for continuing to believe. But remember this, the world is always slow to bow. Reality lags behind imagination. The shadow follows after the form. Do not be deceived by the delay. Delay is not denial. Delay is the world's slow turning to match your vision. So in those moments of doubt, persist all the more. Hold tighter, declare louder, feel deeper, walk stronger. For the persistence of one who refuses to yield is unstoppable. Think of every empire in history. Do you believe it was built without resistance, without delay, without setbacks? No. Every empire was challenged. Every empire was tested. But those who built them refused to let appearances shake their inner conviction. They persisted. And because they persisted, the stones rose. The armies gathered. The banners flew. So it is with you. Your empire is not won by one moment of belief, but by the persistence of belief, by the refusal to let go, even when appearances mock. And here is the mystery. Persistence does not strain. Persistence does not struggle. True persistence is rest. It is the quiet confidence that says, it is done. I need not worry. I need only remain. Do not mistake persistence for effort. You are not called to wrestle the outer world into shape. You are called to persist in the assumption within, knowing the outer must follow. So every day, take time to reaffirm the vision. Every night, fall asleep in the assumption of its fulfillment. Every conversation, let your words reflect the certainty of possession. Every step, let your walk declare victory. And if ever you falter, if doubt rises, if appearances shake you, do not condemn yourself. Simply return to the silence, return to the vision, return to the identity, return to the language, return to the feeling. For persistence is not perfection. Persistence is the choice to come back again and again until the state becomes natural. And once it becomes natural, once the assumption is no longer effort, but ease, then you know the empire is inevitable, for nothing can resist the one who persists. So step 6 is this. Persist in the assumption. Refuse to be moved by appearances. Refuse to surrender to doubt. Refuse to abandon the vision. Hold it, live it, rest in it, and let persistence carry you to fulfillment. For persistence is faith in action. Persistence is the hand that holds the crown until it is placed upon your head. Persistence is the voice that repeats, it is done, until the world can no longer deny it. So I tell you now, persist. Persist when it is easy and persist when it is hard. Persist when the world applauds and persist when it laughs. Persist when you see progress and persist when you see none. For the one who persists cannot fail. And when at last you stand in the halls of your empire, when the dream has become stone, when the vision has become flesh, you will look back and know it was persistence that carried you there. 7. Dwell in gratitude now. My friends, if there is one treasure that opens the gates of your empire, it is gratitude. Gratitude is the golden key. Gratitude is the secret melody that unlocks every door. Gratitude is the state of kings and queens even before the crown rests on their head. To dwell in gratitude now is to live as though the empire already stands. It is to declare by the posture of your heart that what you have imagined is finished, sealed, and delivered. Gratitude is the invisible signature that stamps your vision with certainty. Let me ask you, when you have received a gift, do you not give thanks? You do not beg for it once it is in your hand. You do not doubt it once it is placed before you. You do not plead for what you already possess. No, you give thanks, and your thanks is the sign that you know it is yours. So if the empire is already built in imagination, if it already stands completed in the unseen, then the natural response is gratitude. Gratitude now, not later. Gratitude today, not tomorrow. Gratitude in the invisible, not merely in the visible. Some wait for outer proof to give thanks, but those who wait never see the empire rise. For they live in delay. They say, I will be grateful when it comes. But gratitude is not a result, it is the cause. Gratitude is not the echo, it is the sound that creates the echo. Gratitude is not the harvest, it is the seed that makes the harvest possible. So I tell you, if you would truly build an empire, dwell in gratitude now. Gratitude shifts the heart from lack to abundance. Gratitude turns the focus from absence to possession. Gratitude is the fragrance of victory before the crown is worn. Think of it this way. Two people stand before the same empty field. One sees nothing, complains of nothing, and feels the absence of crops. The other sees the same field but gives thanks for the harvest already on its way. Which one do you think will reap? Which one will persist long enough to plant, water and gather? Gratitude is the difference. For gratitude feeds persistence. Gratitude strengthens imagination. Gratitude sustains feeling. Gratitude is the atmosphere in which visions live and breathe until they become form. Now let us be clear. Gratitude is not mere words. Gratitude is not reciting a phrase while the heart trembles in fear. Gratitude is not repeating empty affirmations while the spirit is resting. Gratitude is a deep and genuine state of being. It is a rest. It is a knowing. It is a quiet joy that says, it is done. And gratitude can be practiced in every moment. When you wake in the morning, give thanks that the empire already stands. As you walk through your day, give thanks for every step as if it were already taken within the halls of your palace. As you close your eyes at night, give thanks for the completion, the fulfillment, the abundance. Gratitude transforms even the smallest things into signs of greatness. That coin in your pocket becomes the seed of wealth when you give thanks for it. That conversation with a stranger becomes the seed of opportunity when you give thanks for it. That small room you rest in becomes the chamber of your empire when you give thanks for it. Gratitude does not wait for much. It multiplies the little into much. Gratitude takes what seems insignificant and magnifies it until the empire itself rises from it. And here is the beauty. Gratitude is magnetic. The more you give thanks, the more life gives you to be thankful for. The more you celebrate, the more life brings you to celebrate. Gratitude is a law. What you appreciate expands. What you dwell in grows. What you honor increases. So when I tell you to dwell in gratitude now, I mean live in it. Do not visit gratitude once a week. Do not brush past it like a stranger. Dwell in it. Make gratitude your home, your atmosphere, your constant state of being. When doubt whispers, drown it with thanksgiving. When appearances mock, silence them with gratitude. When delay lingers, overcome it with joy. Gratitude is stronger than doubt, louder than fear, and deeper than delay. Now listen closely. Gratitude is not only for what you imagine, it is also for what you already hold. For if you cannot give thanks for the little, you will never stand in the abundance of much. If you cannot see the gift in today, you will not see the greater gift tomorrow. Gratitude now is the doorway through which greater blessings walk. So give thanks for the breath in your lungs. Give thanks for the strength in your body. Give thanks for the vision in your heart. Give thanks for the opportunities unseen. Give thanks for the empire completed within. For in this state you align yourself with the very source of all creation. Gratitude changes how you walk into a room. Gratitude changes how people respond to you. Gratitude changes the atmosphere of your life. For a grateful person is magnetic. A grateful person is radiant. A grateful person is irresistible. And doors open to those who carry gratitude as their banner. Remember, to dwell in gratitude now is to live as though the end is finished. Gratitude says, I already hold it. Gratitude says, it is mine. Gratitude says, the empire is complete. And because gratitude assumes the end, gratitude guarantees its manifestation. So my friends, make gratitude your constant companion. Let it walk with you in the silence. Let it sing with you in the vision. Let it echo in your identity. Let it breathe in your language. Let it shine in your feelings. Let it anchor your persistence. Gratitude is the thread that runs through all the steps, binding them into one seamless garment. And when the day comes that you stand in the halls of your empire, you will find yourself once more in gratitude. For gratitude built it, gratitude sustained it, and gratitude will keep it. So do not wait. Begin now. Begin tonight. Begin this very moment. Give thanks not for what will be, but for what is already true in the unseen. Give thanks as though the crown is already on your head. Give thanks as though the walls already stand. Give thanks as though the empire is already alive. For when you dwell in gratitude now, the world must bend. The doors must open. The stones must rise. The vision must appear. Gratitude is the secret power. Gratitude is the hidden crown. Gratitude is the song of fulfillment before the music begins. So I say again, dwell in gratitude now, and the empire is yours. 8. Walk in forgiveness and release. My friends, if you would build an empire, you must learn the art of release. You must walk in forgiveness, not as a favor to another, but as the highest act of power for yourself. An empire cannot rise on soil poisoned by resentment. A palace cannot be built upon a foundation cracked with bitterness. A crown cannot rest steady upon a head burdened with grudges. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. Forgiveness is not surrender, it is sovereignty. Hear me clearly, when you hold another in the chains of your memory, you chain yourself. When you rehearse old wounds, you reopen them on your own soul. When you refuse to forgive, you refuse your own freedom. You cannot walk into tomorrow while clutching the injuries of yesterday. Forgiveness is release. Release of them, yes, but even more. Release of you. Forgiveness cuts the rope that ties you to the past. Forgiveness unburdens the heart so it may soar. Forgiveness clears the mind so it may create. Forgiveness lifts the spirit so it may rise to the throne. Consider this. You are climbing a great mountain, the mountain of your empire, but strapped to your back is a sack of stones. Each stone is a memory of betrayal, a word of insult, a wound of neglect. With every step, the weight drags you down, and yet you hold the sack tightly, saying, I cannot let this go. They must pay. They must suffer. They must know. And all the while it is not they who suffer, it is you. It is not they who stumble, it is you. It is not they who are delayed, it is you. Release the sack, and you rise. Release the stones, and you ascend. Release the past, and the empire comes into view. Forgiveness is not denial. Forgiveness does not say, it never happened. Forgiveness does not excuse cruelty or erase pain. Forgiveness simply refuses to let pain become your master. Forgiveness says, yes, it happened, but it will not define me. Yes, I was hurt, but I will not live in hurt. Yes, I was betrayed, but I will not carry betrayal into my empire. For your empire requires a clear heart. A bitter king destroys his own kingdom. A resentful queen poisons her own court, but a ruler who forgives reigns in peace, and their empire endures. Now some will say, I cannot forgive, it is too hard. The wound is too deep, the betrayal is too great. But I tell you, forgiveness is not hard. Holding on is hard. Rehearsing pain is hard. Living with anger is hard. Forgiveness is release. Forgiveness is letting go. Forgiveness is freedom. And freedom is not hard. It is natural. It is the most natural state of the soul. For the soul was not made to carry chains. The soul was made to soar. How then do you forgive? You forgive by shifting your focus. Stop rehearsing the wound and rehearse your vision. Stop looking backward and look forward. Stop holding them in the prison of your mind and free them by freeing yourself. Go into the silence and see yourself unburdened. See yourself walking light, no chains on your heart, no heaviness on your spirit. See yourself as one who has released all debt, all injury, all memory of wrong. Feel the joy of freedom. Feel the lightness of release. This is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not an act you perform once. Forgiveness is a walk. Forgiveness is a way of being. Every day release. Every day let go. Every day cut the rope. For every day the past will try to return. Every day memory will knock. Every day resentment will whisper. But you as the ruler of your mind must say, no more. I am free. And when you release others, release yourself as well. Do not chain yourself to guilt. Do not rehearse your failures. Do not bind yourself to shame. You cannot build an empire while flogging yourself for yesterday's mistakes. Release yourself. Forgive yourself. Stand upright, knowing that the past has no claim on you. The greatest kings and queens were not without flaws. They stumbled, they erred, they failed. But what made them great was not perfection. It was their refusal to be trapped in the failure. They released themselves, and they rose again. So must you. Think of your empire as a great river, flowing strong and wide. Forgiveness removes the stones that block its current. Forgiveness clears the debris that would dam the flow. Forgiveness restores the rush of life, abundance, and creation. Without forgiveness, the river becomes stagnant. With forgiveness, it surges forward, unstoppable. Now let us be practical. Begin today. Think of one memory, one person, one wound that you have carried. See it clearly. Feel the weight of it. Then in the silence of your mind, release. Say within yourself, I let you go. You have no more power over me. You are free and I am free. And feel the chains fall. Feel the weight lift. Feel the freedom rush in. Do this again and again, until every chain is broken, until every weight is lifted, until your soul walks light. And as you release others, You will find life releasing blessings into your hands. As you let go of pain, you will find joy rushing in. As you cut the rope of resentment, you will rise swiftly to your throne. Forgiveness is the air of the empire. Without it, the atmosphere is toxic. With it, the air is pure. Without it, the halls are dark. With it, the halls are bright. Forgiveness transforms the inner climate of your world. And here is the wonder. Forgiveness not only frees you, it transforms others as well. For when you release them in imagination, something shifts. They feel it. They respond to it. They rise to a new level. Your forgiveness becomes a light in their darkness. Your release becomes their invitation to rise. But even if they never change, even if they never rise, even if they remain as they were, it does not matter. For you are free, and freedom is your empire. So I tell you, walk in forgiveness and release. Do not wait another day. Do not carry another stone. Do not cling to another wound. Release. Forgive. Let go. Walk light. Walk free. For your empire cannot be built by hands clenched in anger. It can only be built by hands open in freedom. And when you stand at last in the fullness of your empire, when you sit upon your throne and look back upon the path that brought you there, you will see that forgiveness was not merely a step along the way. It was the wings that carried you. Forgive and be free. Release and rise. Walk in forgiveness and the empire is yours. 9. Ignore appearances. My friends, if you would build an empire, you must learn the courage to ignore appearances. The outer world is but a mirror, a shadow, a delayed reflection of what you once believed to be true. What you see with your eyes today is not reality. It is only evidence of yesterday's assumptions. And if you are ruled by appearances, you will never rise beyond them. If you bow to what the senses tell you, you become their slave. If you accept the report of the world as final, you deny your own creative power. The outer world says, you are small. Ignore it. The outer world says, you are broke. Ignore it. The outer world says, you are unworthy, forgotten, defeated. Ignore it. For the world has no voice of its own. It only repeats the voice you once whispered to yourself in imagination. Look around you now. The chair you sit on, the clothes you wear, the walls that surround you, all once existed in the unseen. Someone dared to see them before they appeared. Someone held the vision, ignoring the emptiness that seemed to say, it is not here. Someone believed in the shadow world bent to their imagination. So it is with your empire. You must dare to ignore the evidence that screams impossible. You must dare to walk blind to the senses and see only with the eyes of spirit. You must dare to say, though the fields are bare, I walk among harvest. Though the pockets are empty, I hold great wealth. Though the throne is unseen, I sit upon it now. This is not madness, it is mastery. This is not foolishness, it is faith. The fools are those who think appearances are solid when they are only smoke. The wise know appearances are shadows, and shadows must give way to light. Do you not see? When you chase appearances, you are chasing ghosts. You are arguing with illusion. You are trying to carve permanence into smoke. But when you turn within, when you anchor your vision in imagination, you touch substance. You touch reality. You touch the eternal, and the shadows must follow. An empire builder does not ask the world for permission. An empire builder does not wait for appearances to change. An empire builder declares the change within, and then walks as though it were already done. But here lies the test. The world will try to mock you. The world will say, where is your throne? Where is your wealth? Where is your power? And if you look to appearances, you will falter. But if you look within, if you hold your vision, if you persist in the unseen, the day must come when the outer world bends to your inner command. Think of the seed. You plant it in the soil, and for many days nothing appears. If you judge by appearances, you will dig it up and say, it has failed. But if you trust the unseen, if you know life is stirring beneath the surface, you will wait, you will water, you will believe, and in time, the sprout breaks through. So it is with your empire. In imagination, you have planted the seed. If you dig it up by doubting, if you dig it up by despairing, if you dig it up by believing appearances, the seed dies. But if you hold steady, if you persist, if you ignore the barren soil and believe in the unseen root, your vision will break through into form. Ignore appearances. Ignore them when they whisper lack. Ignore them when they shout delay. Ignore them when they parade impossibility before your eyes. Ignore them and turn within to the true vision that cannot be denied. Now hear this. Ignoring appearances does not mean denying the world. You do not need to close your eyes and pretend the bills do not exist or that the obstacles are not there. You acknowledge them, but you deny their power. You see them, but you do not yield to them. You stand in your vision, knowing the appearances are temporary, but the unseen reality is eternal. Let me tell you something vital. Appearances are always late. They lag behind imagination. What you see today is the report of yesterday's state. And what you will see tomorrow depends entirely on what you accept as true right now. If you keep bowing to today's appearances, you will keep repeating them tomorrow. But if you dare to ignore today's evidence and persist in the vision of tomorrow, you shift the entire cycle. This is the courage few possess. Most people are prisoners of their senses. They see lack, and they believe in lack. They see failure, and they believe in failure. They see delay, and they believe in delay. And so their world becomes a hall of mirrors, reflecting the same pain again and again. But you must rise above the senses. You must walk by inner sight. You must anchor yourself so deeply in the unseen vision that no appearance can shake you. There will be nights when doubt comes knocking. There will be mornings when the evidence looks gray. There will be moments when every voice says give up. But in those moments you must remember, appearances lie. Appearances are shadows. Appearances are smoke. And smoke cannot stop the fire within you. Your empire is not built by what you see. It is built by what you assume. And once assumed, the appearances must bow. Let me ask you, when you look into a mirror and see your reflection, do you try to fix the mirror? No. You fix yourself, and the reflection changes. The world is your mirror. Appearances are your reflection. Do not waste your energy trying to wrestle the shadow. Change the image within, and the shadow must follow. So I urge you, when appearances rise against you, do not fear. When the outer world shows lack, declare abundance within. When the outer world shows failure, declare victory within. When the outer world shows defeat, declare empire within, and then walk as though it was so. This is how thrones are claimed. This is how empires are built, not by bowing to appearances but by commanding them. For the day will come as surely as dawn follows night, when the world that mocked you will marvel. They will ask, how did it happen? How did you rise? How did you build such an empire? And you will smile, for you will know you ignored appearances and you believed in the unseen. Ignored appearances and the world cannot stop you. Ignored appearances and the empire is yours. 10. Rest in the certainty of fulfillment. My friends, the final step in building your empire is not struggle. It is not strain. It is not the fevered rush to force things into being. The final step is rest. Rest in the certainty that what you have claimed in imagination is already yours. This rest is not the rest of idleness, nor the rest of surrender to failure. It is the rest of mastery, the rest of knowing, the rest of assurance that creation is complete. For once the seed is planted, the wise do not dig it up. They let it grow. They let the unseen processes unfold. They trust the life within the seed. So it is with your empire. Once you have seen it, once you have assumed it, once you have lived within it in imagination, you may rest. You need not beg. You need not plead. You need not chase. You need only rest in the knowledge that it is done. The anxious mind says, but when will it happen? How will it come? Through whom will it arrive? And in that questioning, the anxious mind delays the harvest. For anxiety is doubt, and doubt digs up the seed. But the mind of faith rests. It says, it is already mine. Though the shadows have not yet shifted, the substance is secure. Though the mirror has not yet caught up, the image is set. Rest is the highest proof of belief. Rest is the final seal on creation. When you rest in fulfillment, you proclaim silently to the universe, I have it. I am it. It is finished. Consider the builder who lays the last stone on his palace. Does he rush about in panic? Does he doubt whether the walls will stand? No, he rests. He beholds his finished work and finds joy in its completeness. And though you may not yet see the palace in the outer world, when you have laid its foundation in imagination, you too may rest as though the final stone were already placed. This rest is not laziness. Do not mistake it. This rest does not mean you withdraw from life or refuse action. It means every action you take flows from certainty, not fear. It means you no longer chase results because you know the results are already secured. It means you move with calm authority, for you are not trying to become your being. And what happens when you rest? The world begins to conspire in your favor. Circumstances align. People appear. Opportunities open. The current of life carries you forward, because you are no longer resisting it with doubt. Have you ever noticed that when you strive in desperation, the world resists you? The more you claw and grasp, the further the goal seems to slip away. But the moment you release, the moment you rest in the knowing that it is already yours, things begin to move with ease. Doors you once tried to break down now swing open of their own accord. Paths you once thought blocked now reveal themselves. This is the power of rest. Rest does not mean you give up. It means you let go of the belief that you must make it happen. You realize it is already done. Your work is not to force but to accept. Your task is not to demand but to receive. Think of the artist who envisions a masterpiece. Before the first brush touches the canvas, he already sees the finished work within. When the painting is complete, he sets the brush down and rests, knowing nothing more is required. He does not continue to paint endlessly, fearing it is incomplete. He knows the work is finished. So too must you rest in the fulfillment of your empire. Once you have seen it clearly in imagination, once you have assumed it as your reality, you must put the brush down. You must declare, it is finished. And then you walk in that calm assurance, letting life itself reveal the masterpiece. Rest requires courage. It is far easier to panic, to chase, to grasp, to demand. Rest requires the strength to stand still when the senses scream otherwise. Rest requires the boldness to say, though I see nothing, I know everything is complete. Rest requires the faith to stop digging, stop doubting, stop striving, and simply be. When you rest, you shift your entire state of being. Your voice carries confidence. Your steps carry weight. Your presence carries authority. People feel it. They may not know why, but they sense it. They sense the calm of someone who already possesses the empire, and the world mirrors it back. Do not mistake this rest for passivity. Rest is not retreat. It is dominion. It is the quiet power of the one who knows. The warrior who has already claimed victory does not flail his sword wildly. He moves with precision, calm and certainty. That is the rest I speak of. And here is the wonder. When you rest, you free the unseen forces to work for you. You free the soil to nourish the seed. You free the current to carry your ship. You free the pattern to unfold in its perfect time. Anxiety blocks, fear resists, doubt delays, but rest clears the way. Rest declares the work complete, and so the world must follow. This is why the masters of old always spoke of peace. Peace in the storm, calm in the chaos, rest in the midst of turmoil. For they knew the truth. The storm is only appearance. The chaos is only shadow. The turmoil is only noise. Beneath it all, the reality is secure. You must learn this art if you would build your empire. Without rest, you will exhaust yourself in endless striving. With rest, you will walk with ease into the throne that is already yours. Let me tell you this. The world admires struggle, but struggle is the mark of ignorance. The world glorifies the fight, but the fight is the mark of doubt. True power does not struggle. True power rests. True power says, I have already won. And because it says so, it is so. So today I call you into rest. Not the rest of resignation, but the rest of fulfillment. Not the rest of weakness, but the rest of strength. Not the rest of defeat, but the rest of victory. Rest as though the empire were already built. Rest as though the throne were already beneath you. Rest as though the crown were already upon your head. And then live from that rest. Speak from it, act from it, walk from it. For in resting, you declare the work finished, and the world must conform to your declaration. Rest, and the empire is yours. Rest, and the throne is yours. Rest, and the world will bear witness to what you already know. It is finished.